everybody.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura, and I've actually known Aaron since high school. He was actually one of my sister's best friends. I was the quiet shadow, always following him around. And in return for my creepy loyalty, they would torment me by doing things like using a speak and spell to prank call me with messages of my involvement in the death of my geometry teacher. They would pretend like I was actually invisible even while I was standing right there. And this was Aaron's specialty. He would rub his Barney Rubble-like feet all over my pillow when I was home and tell me that. So obviously, because I was 15, I fell madly in love with him. Fast forward a few years later, and I moved to Orlando for college, and Aaron was actually the only person in town that I knew. My high school crush blossomed into the best friendship I've ever had. He's asked me to say a few words tonight, and I immediately knew that I was going to rock the shit out of this speech. I have a degree in English. I took a few creative writing classes in college over 10 years ago, and I even got my super emo poetry published in the school paper. I even knew the angle I wanted to take with this speech, and after receiving some advice from a few people about what I should talk about in said speech, turns out it's not supposed to be about me. I went to work describing what a great couple you guys are, and how they complement each other but still retain their individual personalities, and I even threw in a few hilarious jokes. I had this one really great bit about how Aaron and Ben were like a classic comedy duo, with Aaron being what's known as the straight man. And Ben is the comedy man, and I don't know if you know this, but the comedy man is actually referred to as the banana man. So after I finished writing out this whole thing, I decided to actually Google search how to write a wedding speech, just to put a little bit of polish on what was already going to obviously be the best wedding speech ever written. And this is not that speech. It turns out you aren't supposed to make thinly veiled sexual references, like at all. No inside jokes either, so I'm sorry, Aaron, but I had to take out the bit where I tell you how sad my father was that he couldn't be here, and how heartbroken he is that he married somebody else. So I had to scrap the best speech in the world and start all over again. Clearly I needed new source material. I decided to turn to the movies. It makes perfect sense, as anyone who has visited AaronandBen.com knows that Aaron has a huge affinity for romantic comedies, specifically anything in the late 1990s Hugh Grant movie. Did you know that most romantic comedies start with what's called a meet cute? Okay, for those of you who don't know, a meet cute is a scene in which a future romantic couple meets for the first time in a way that is considered cute or adorable or amusing. Aaron and Ben's romantic comedy definitely includes a meet cute. I won't rehash the circumstances of that meeting because they've already done it, and you should have read the website. So I watched a lot of movies to prepare for this speech, which was not a hardship for me. And I realized that Aaron and Ben's relationship has the setup to be an amazing romantic comedy. I have been lucky enough to witness these two meet cute, fall in love, and change and grow as both individuals and as a couple. This would be the scene in the movie where there's a cute little montage of scenes like Ben teaching Aaron how to balance a checkbook. or perhaps Ben white-knuckle gripping Aaron's hand as he gets led through a haunted house for the first time in Halloween. Maybe a scene of the two of them adopting an adorable and scruffy little puppy named Winston. Or buying their first home together and having to be the cool new couple who gives out full-size candy bars on their first Halloween. That's possibly, I personally picture a really nice, like, up-tempo Kelly Clarkson song playing, but it's not my movie. This is the part of the speech where all of the experts tell me that I should extol the virtues of both gentlemen. Truthfully, if you're here, you know and love Ben and Aaron like I do. I don't need to tell you how Ben's face lights up when Aaron walks into the room, even though they've been together for almost 10 years. And you already know that kind of half-smirk, head-shake combo that Aaron does whenever Ben tells a really silly joke. You know that Aaron is a hilarious person on his own, and you saw it today, actually. But he's more than happy to let Ben have the spotlight because, let's face it, he's the funniest person in this room or any room. Almost not a swear. You already know how supportive they are of each other. They never go more than a few days without seeing each other, even when Ben is in the middle of nowhere doing the funny kind of spelling bee again. He still comes home once a week to spend time with Aaron, and Aaron has seen Ben Ben shows, all 50 million of them, so many times he's frequently caught lip-syncing the lines to the audience. I also don't need to tell you that they share an amazing sense of adventure because you've seen all their holiday cards.
Our racist Chinese
Alright, so the only problem I found with turning Aaron and Ben's epic love story into a romantic comedy is that most of those movies end at the lavish and extravagant wedding scene. This is how I know your romance isn't a movie variety. This is just a beautiful scene. Not an ending, but not really a beginning either. So no sequels. I'd like to end this speech with a toast made by Mr. Hugh Grant from the movie Four Weddings and a Funeral. I am, as ever, in bewildered awe of anyone who makes this kind of commitment that Aaron and Ben have made. I know I couldn't do it, and I think it's wonderful that they can. So raise your glass to two of the best people I know, Aaron and Ben.
Cheers!
Everybody raise those glasses. Let's hear it for Laura.